Thank you, Tom. Hi, my name's Connie, and the beginning of this journey was not a conscious decision of I'm going to serve Satan. It never was like that. It started, I guess, when I was going to Agassiz. They had in their library a book of witchcraft. And curiosity. It was curiosity. Nobody was telling me what I was doing was bad or wrong, and at the same time, we were having slumber parties where we were doing light as a feather, hypnosis, and I seemed to be have a talent for this. And again, no one was telling me what I was doing was wrong. I wasn't raised in a home that really went to church at all. And when I brought home that book of witchcraft, I remember my mom saying, just don't leave your hair and nails around. And it was like, on this side of things, I look at how society is, and we're not taking this serious. Our children are being exposed to some really horrific things on the media. So I'll go back to my story. Okay, so that was just like a phase that I went through. By the time I was 16, I kind of forgot about it all. And I delved into college. I graduated early. And there was a group of girls that were doing the same thing. You know, we'd do the seances, and we weren't, like I said, nobody said we were doing anything wrong. There was no warnings, no nothing. So that was another, and then the drugs started. I got into a really heavy drug habit until like 88. And I got sick. I got real sick. I started going to the medical facilities saying it was a mental disease. And so they started feeding me all these drugs. And at the same time, I'm in the New Age movement now, because that was really prevalent in the 80s. And we did the crystals, and we were doing the rocks, and it was all very cool because everybody's doing this, right? So at the same time, I'm getting sicker and sicker. I'm taking a lot of medication for stuff they couldn't really even label. But to be fair to the medical establishment, they asked me in the beginning if I practiced witchcraft. And I said, no. You know, I didn't label it as such, because the New Age movement kind of disguises itself as such. What you're doing is you're inviting something in. And I didn't understand this. Nobody ever told me about this. Like I said, I was never raised in a church. And I never knew this side of things. I always thought, this is just something that I do. You know, this is like a hobby, or, you know, I get together with the girls and we do the seances and we're doing light as a feather. And when my child was in high school, some bizarre things started happening. Spells were showing up in my house. And these old ancient spells were just showing up. And I thought, why not, you know? Because it's just something I do. And so I called up something. That I can't explain. And I got really scared one night. So I ran over to a friend's house, and I knew she was a Christian, but I didn't know she was like a Christian, you know, like Jesus alive and well sort of thing. So I ran over to her house, and it's like, I'm terrified of what was going on in my house, because I don't know how many of you believe in the supernatural of the opposite side, but things were happening in my house that at night, I guess I don't really want to go into it, but things were coming in my house. And so I'm at this friend's house, and she said, Jesus must have brought you here. And I'm like, what? I looked at her like she was crazy. It's like, what Jesus? What are you talking about? So we're debating the reality of this Jesus, and I got knocked off her couch, and I looked terrified, and she said, what just happened? And I said, God's alive and well, and everything matters. And she said, you just been saved by grace. And it's like, I looked at her, I didn't get it at all. But I remember she had Bibles in her house. I burned through those Bibles like I was starving to death. And then it was on the pursuit of his church. Now, 2 weeks before this incident, before I showed up at her house, the medical facility told me that I would never work again and I would never be a useful member of society. On that day that happened, I quit taking all those drugs they were feeding me. A week later, I'm at a computer class, small one, but enough to get me in the door somewhere. I've been working at the same job with a couple of promotions now for 6 years. Now, if it wasn't for that reality, I would thought that I'd lost my mind. But something happened in between being lost out there and being deathly ill to God finding me. And now I'm a productive member of the society. There was no priest involved. There was nothing between God and I. It was God that healed me up. And now I can't figure out why he did that. I'm pretty much a schmuck. But my first year after this, I just ran. All I could say was, God's alive and well, and everything matters. And I lost every friend I had out there because they thought I'd lost my mind. Now she lost her mind, But now I'm working. I got a car. Things are going in the right direction. But I found a new set of friends, a new community. Although at times I still think I don't know what happened here. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I know that he loves us all. He loves us all, and he wants the best for us. I see what's going on out there now, what our kids are exposed to, and it scares me because I think Satan's greatest trick right now is that he doesn't exist. Don't worry about it. This is just something you do. This is just a choice you make. All this crazy stuff that's going on. And it's not. There's real entities on both sides of this field that are playing for your souls. I don't know. When I talk to people that are doing the tarot cards, they just laugh at me. It's like, this is just something that I do. And it's like, it is not just something you do. It's a draw. It's a draw. And something is drawing you to these things. The crystals, the seances, it's a draw. Something's drawing people to this stuff. And I saw the Olympics, the opening ceremony, and it's like, if you knew who you were up against, I don't think I'd be doing this. I had to turn it off. I had to turn it off. It's like the reality to me right now is so plain. But I sleptwalk myself into that life. Because like I said, nobody was telling me what I was doing was wrong. No one threw up like a danger flag and say, there's a real entity out there that hates you, that will destroy you. Now I see like a lot of people get rich off this. They use demons to get rich, to get marriages, but there's a price to pay. There's a huge price in all of this. But I'm only one person. I'm only one person that, by the grace of God, got pulled up and out. Up and up is what I say. But if I could warn every person out there against these crystals, the terrors, just all this new age that I think Satan's disguising himself behind right now, I would, but like I said, I'm just one person, and I have my testimony. I know what happened. I know how sick I got physically and mentally, and I know what happened after that period of grace, and I thank him every day on my face. I don't know what I did to deserve it. I didn't do anything. I was arguing against him, but he still loved me all the same. That's it.